No breathing. your life, you will be shown how I become indestructible. Determination and is incorruptible. From the other side of terror to behold, annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that they're opponent that they'll be invincible. Take a last look around while you're alive. I'm an indestructible master of war. Determination that is incorruptible. From the other side of terror to behold, annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that their opponent that they'll be invincible. Take a last look around while you're alive. I'm an indestructible master of war.
Good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live on LouTube. Thanks for watching. This is Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. YouTube's longest running college football call-in show, too. The link is in the description of the video. If you want to be a part of the show today, just click that link. Come on, we can talk some college football. I did my Tennessee Vols 2022 season preview and game-by-game prediction today. It'll be posted to my channel as soon as this live stream ends. But if you're watching this live stream, you won't have to watch that video. I will show you. My Tennessee prediction. In fact, if you were watching the intro to the show today, I already showed you the first 4 games. But your boy Uncle Lou has Tennessee starting out 4-0. Including a win on the road at Pitt and a win at home against the lowly Gators. Those next 2 games, though. Ooh. Those next 2 games, though. Yikes. At LSU, home against Bama. I don't know. We'll see how I predict those 2 games here in a few minutes, but how's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay today? Getting close to the start of the football season here. It'll be here before you know it. Again, if you want to be a part of the show, just click the StreamYard link in the description of the video. It'll also be posted in the comment section a few times. Here, let's try this. See if that works. Of course it works. There you go. Join the show. Click that link. Everybody hit the thumbs up. 89 people in here, 35 thumbs up. We ought to be able to get it a lot closer to 60. 2 out of 3 of you like the video, don't you? I know 1 out of 3 are just here to troll. That's fine, too. I love my trolls. 2 out of 3, though, I think actually enjoy these call-in shows. So hit the thumbs up if you're excited to talk some college football today. We could talk Tennessee if you want, since like I mentioned, I did do their preview and prediction video today. It'll be posted as soon as this live show ends, but if you come on the show, we can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. I try to think of something to put in the title of the video, but if you come on the show, if you get on the show, we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, as long as it relates to the wonderful world of college football. Now, can we take roll and see who all is present and accounted for? I think that would probably be a good idea to go ahead and do. So let's go ahead and do that now. Christopher Shannon is here. Captain Trips, Dustin Caldwell, George, True Seminole, The Dog, Kyle Pappick, Corbin McClure, Nate the Great, Red Dog, Sir UGA, Hawk Minifield, Tony Patrick, Wisconsin Sportsman, Dustin Fugate. I don't even know if that, I don't know why I did this. I don't know if that's even Italian or not. Probably not, but oh well. Noah Brogdon, Jonathan Aaron, Sir UGA, Matt Dummett, Sean Nicholson, Corbin McClure, Benny Boy, Dustin Caldwell, Zona Tucson, Captain Kenneth with a K, 2 Ks. Yep. Big Barney Ross, what's up, buddy? Sean Holiday is here. Sack Star, Ryan, Go Dogs, Tony Patrick. Did we already say that? It's all right if we did. We'll say hey to you twice, buddy. Jerome Shit-Talking Pruitt is here. I don't know what he could possibly have to talk shit about, but good morning, though. Yeah, Matthew Walkner. Hoghead, what's up, buddy? Law Tide one time is here. How many times is he here? One time. Thank you, Law Tide one time. Yeah. Fabian is here. Alan V. Troll Patrol. What's up, buddy? Jay Shipes is also here one time. That's good. That's good. Some of the trolls are here 3 and 4 times, 5, 6 times. Some of them, all these accounts they got, Nature Boy is here. Sean Nicholson is here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's talk some college football today. How about that? Let's do that. Let's see who wants to talk some college football. What's up,
Uncle Lou?
I can't call it, man. You tell me.
You think we're going to beat LSU, Tennessee Volunteers?
You want me to tell you now?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'll tell you now. Listen up. Coming out of that, on the road at LSU, followed by a home game against Alabama. In most years, this would be 2 automatic losses. There's not really a tougher place to play in the SEC than on the road at LSU, right? And Alabama is Alabama. As long as Nick Saban's there, they're going to be favored in almost every single game they play. With the LSU game, I honestly don't know who will be favored in this game by the time it's played. I have some serious questions about LSU, like I'm sure everybody else does. Who's going to be the quarterback? How is Brian Kelly going to acclimate as a head coach to the SEC? LSU's a very talented team, though. If you just compare roster to roster, LSU's a more talented team than Tennessee. And even though Brian Kelly is new to the SEC, he's not new to coaching in the Power 5. He's not new to coaching in big games, and he's not new to coaching against SEC teams. I mean, he played Georgia a couple of times. He played Bama, a couple other SEC teams he's played over the years. And this is a road game for Tennessee the week before what most Tennessee fans consider to be their biggest game of the year every year, the Alabama game. I think Tennessee slips up here and takes a loss. Now, I'm going to be honest. I am not confident in that pick. It's I'm not sitting here going, oh, LSU is definitely going to beat Tennessee. One of the things that makes these types of prediction videos hard to do is choosing the exact games you think a team will lose to, right? It's one thing to look at this scheduling. Yeah, there you go. I think they lose.
If we lose LSU, we know we're going to lose to Alabama. I know it.
Well, you're losing to Alabama anyway. I mean, come on.
Yeah, from past seasons.
Yeah. Plus, they're just way better than you.
Well, we hope to beat Georgia. That's another deal.
In Athens, late in the year, I don't know about that either.
We're going to win that game. I know we will.
Well, that's why I love Tennessee fans. They're forever optimistic.
All right, I'll talk to you. Thank you for letting me on the show, Uncle Lou. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Sam, good to hear from you, buddy. Good luck to your Vols this year. Look, I'm not knocking the Vols for 2022. I think they're going to be a good team. Not good enough to beat LSU, obviously, but I still think they're a pretty good team. What's up, George?
Why is that guy washing his feet in the toilet?
He likes to come on here and do weird shit. He thinks people can see him.
Hey, check this out.
Yeah.
How you like my shirt?
What's it say? Off the Vans? Off the Vans?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
that's
some
great.
Kind of...
Off the Vans. Oh, off
Off the wall van.
Yeah, that's nice, George. It's got a bulldog
back.
on there. Yeah, George is wearing for those of you that are wondering, George is wearing a Vans T-shirt with a giant bulldog head on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't make anybody a bet, I'm paying it off anyway. After all the shit I talked about Georgia,
Yeah.
I'm doing this one day just to say good job.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing.
It's good for the Southeast. It's good for the Southeastern Conference that a SEC East team won. You know.
Right. Somebody's got to carry the load. It surely ain't Florida.
We'll be all right. We'll get one in the next few years.
Yeah.
If you quit stealing all the 5 stars.
Well, little birdie told me y'all might be getting a 5-star this week.
It's possible. God knows we've saved enough money on buying players. We should be able to buy one by now.
Yeah, as far as I know, you ain't bought none.
I know. It's fucked up. Even Miami beat us for our number 1 rated offensive lineman.
Yeah. And then I think we got Aguero last week. Y'all are getting that.
Somebody ran the numbers on how many teams can possibly win the national championship.
Yeah.
There's a cutoff point. If you don't have enough 4 and 5 stars, you're just not going to win, period.
Yeah,
and we are still in that top 12 or 16. So
yeah, I put that chart up the other day. Yeah, you have to have
right.
At least half your roster has to be 4 and 5 stars.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, I wanted to make that $100 bet with you. You were going to double the money, 2 for 1 that day.
Right.
And the first guy called in and took Florida versus Utah. And you said, I'm not going to do 100 of these bets. You know, I'll do 1, but.
Yeah, the thing is, I can't bet a guy one way on a game and then bet somebody else the other way. That's silly. Either way, the best I can, you know, either I'm breaking even. There's just no point in doing it.
Right, I agree.
Well, what else is on your mind, George?
I'm watching this show called Counting Cars. I've never seen it before. Everybody else has seen it, but I never have.
Cars or cards?
You ever watch Counting Cars, like automobiles?
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it?
No, never heard of it.
It's this number 1 car guy in Las Vegas. He just drives around and buys up classic cars and restores them to new.
And then he counts them?
No, his name is Count something.
Oh.
He's a biker.
I got you.
Like the Count of Monte Cristo or something.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
But every single car he shows on this show is something me and my family owned out of my 4 brothers and my dad and my uncles and aunts and cousins.
Yeah.
They're all 70s cars and 60s cars, you know?
Right.
And they're all worth $250,000 now, and we all bought them for like $300 and wrecked them and threw them away. I wish we'd have kept a couple of those.
Well, you live and you learn, George.
I know. Take care of your Mustang. You still got that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt.
You ever got a ticket in it?
No.
Did you get it? No?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No tickets.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't had a ticket in like 10 years either. I get a little nervous when I'm going 80 into 65. I'm like, do I really want to mess this shit up and get a ticket? And I get back into the next one over.
Are you even allowed to drive?
I've had a car forever.
Okay. But do you have a license?
I'm an official NASCAR driver.
Right. Of course you are.
Yeah,
George.
I was born. Everything I ever drove had a 455 in it when I was growing up. I know how to take a curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a license and insurance. USAA, I'm a veteran.
Did you want to talk any football today?
Well, I think the Gators might win 10 games this year. That would be extremely exceeding. I'd be happy. Okay, 9. Can we do 9?
I doubt it. I mean, you play Utah, Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU. I mean, how many losses is that?
If Utah beats us, I swear to God, you don't even want to fucking talk to me if they beat us.
Well,
I might throw my team under the bus if we lose to Utah.
George, I don't usually want to talk to you anyway.
That's true. I might throw Utah. I might throw the Gators under the bus if we lose to Utah.
Oh no!
I swear to God.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't.
I
do
might
that.
abandon ship.
You could always turn.
That would be the most embarrassing thing in the world, losing to a team full of 3-stars. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, but if you lose to Utah, you could always turn your season around the following week by beating something called Kentucky.
Yeah.
Just
That's what I'm saying. I'm more worried about Kentucky than I am about Utah.
Yeah. No respect for Utah, huh?
I have a lot of respect for Utah. They're probably a top 10 team.
Right.
Maybe number 9 or something. They might rate them higher, but they're all 3-stars with a couple. They got one of our best defensive players. That's their best player on their team.
Yeah, what's his name? He led your team in tackles last year. What's his name?
His name is Muhammad Diabate.
Diabate,
And
that's right.
he's from Auburn. He grew up and lived in Auburn. He just wanted to expand his horizons a little bit, so he went to Florida. And
Now he's expanding
now
them
he's
even
in
more.
Utah. Huh?
Now he's expanding his horizons even more way out west to Utah.
And man, that must be some real culture shock, man.
Yeah.
To go from Auburn to Florida to Gainesville to Utah.
Yeah. So you lost.
Maybe he met a nice.
So your best linebacker left and went to Utah. Your best wide receiver left and went to what?
West Virginia or something.
Boston College. or something.
Maryland.
I mean, what's going on down there?
Jacob Copeland is the strongest wide receiver in all of college football. He can bench press more. He can squat more. He's a strong dude. He was like a 5-star.
Too strong.
He's the
for
guy
Florida,
that his
apparently.
mother got all pissed off when he signed with us.
That's
Remember?
right. Yeah, she got up and walked off.
Mhm.
About disowned his ass.
I guess she finally won, huh?
Yeah. He got the hell out of there.
Anyway, he's playing for that guy that used to be assistant for Nick Saban, and then Nick Saban made him offensive coordinator for 1 year, Mike something. And anyway, it's a small world in the SEC. Look, everybody's buying freaking players now, man. Can you imagine what they paid for Diabate and Copeland?
More than Florida was willing to pay.
Exactly. This might be my last year watching football. I don't like free agency in football.
Yeah.
I like it when people do tradition and they play for the school because they love the school, and this is not good.
Yeah, you seem like a pretty traditional guy.
Well, I just think it's wrong that USC and UCLA joined the Big Ten. That's just wrong.
Right.
They should have added a few teams to the Pac-12 and left that conference there. That was kind of an important conference,
But
you know?
In order for the Pac-12 to add teams, don't some teams have to leave some other conference to go to the Pac-12, and then wouldn't that be wrong?
I agree. Let's put it all back the way it was 5 years ago and leave it alone.
What about when Missouri and Texas A&M left to join the SEC? Was that wrong?
We can put them back where they belong to. I don't care about either one of them.
What about when Nebraska left and joined the Big Ten 10 years ago? Was that wrong?
We can make that the cutoff point.
What about when Miami left
Nebraska
the Big East
should
20
go-
years ago and joined the ACC? Was that wrong? My point is, this has been happening forever. It's not anything new. It is.
Hey, look,
it
it's
is
just
tradition.
messed up.
It is tradition for teams to change conferences.
There was a logical way to do this. This is not the logical way. Free agency, players can change every year, unopened bidding wars. It's just not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, look, nothing's going to stop it now. So the Penn State players have petitioned to get part of the TV rights. So it's professional football. They're going to have a players union, blah, blah, blah. You know?
Well, it's not just Penn State. It's a group of players from within the Big Ten. And they said they're not looking to unionize.
no one's taking into consideration golf and basketball and gymnastics and track and field. What
They're
about
not.
those guys? This is going to be messy.
They have the same rights as football players. Any school can go out and, I mean, any NIL collective can go out and buy whatever gymnastics player they want.
It kind of ruined the NFL when they went to free agency and you never knew who played on what team anymore.
And what's the
And
most
they're doing it
popular?
to college
And
football.
what's the most popular sport in the United States?
What?
The NFL.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Well, there's a lot of things. You know, you're not the standard for what is or isn't popular. You know,
I find it hard to believe most
I understand
people,
you don't like the
find it hard
NFL,
to
but it's the
believe.
most popular sport in the United States.
I find it hard to believe more people watch the NFL than college. I find that hard to believe.
Well, you can Google it.
I'm not sure I trust the computer.
Well, that's the problem with people nowadays. There's nothing that will change your mind. You have an opinion, and facts aren't going to change that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I live in Portland, Oregon. I'm pretty sure not one person here watches the NFL. Everybody's into some other shit. There might be a few college fans here, but I just don't know where all these NFL fans are. I don't meet them. I don't talk to them. Maybe they're out there.
Have you ever tried going outside of your own bubble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went out today. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Every window in Portland, Oregon has plywood over it. I don't know where they're getting these cases of paint they graffiti the town with, because canned paint is expensive.
Have you read the
And,
Constitution?
What, you have a right to free speech?
No, you have a right to travel freely between the states. You don't have to stay there. You're choosing to
I
stay
know,
there.
I
You're
know.
choosing to. So
I'm going to move, but it's by force, because otherwise I might have a freaking aneurysm if I stay here.
right.
I can't take it no more.
But
I
as
feel
for
like my
today,
head's
though,
in a vice.
But as for today, you're choosing to stay there and just complain about it.
It's because I'm on Section 8 housing. It's hard to move.
Yeah. What if I told you they had Section 8 housing in other states?
Yeah. With a waiting list.
Right. Have you considered
where do you think they're
getting
putting-
on the waiting list?
Where do you think they're putting all these people they're busing around the country from the border? They're all getting Section 8 houses. There's none left, man.
Well, have you considered getting your own house and not relying on the government to pay your rent? Have you considered that?
Actually, I have considered that. That's why I encouraged all my children to buy a lottery ticket this week. If we get that 790 million, I'm definitely moving.
Right.
Did you get a ticket?
No.
Well, don't worry. If we win, I'll throw you a bone.
I appreciate that, George.
No problem, man.
All right, George. Thanks for coming on today, buddy.
All right, and I never knew I was blocked, so quit saying that, because it's embarrassing when I go, really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
I block you every off season, but then I put you back on during
I
football
know that,
season.
and I thank you for that. I
Yeah,
really do.
It saves you a lot of time. All right,
All right.
George. We'll talk to you
Love
next
you,
time,
man.
buddy. All right. George checking in, Florida fan, been around forever. I like George. I do have to block him in the off season, though. But I love having him on here during the season. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
So I gotta take some notes here, and that he said Florida was gonna win 10 games.
That's what he said. Maybe 9, he said. But, yeah, he said 10, though.
I'm not even leaning towards 9,
No, me either.
because I mean, even if AR-15 does go off, which I think he can, but again, I also do see a world where if Dan Mullen can't fix them up, then why would I trust a defensive guy to do it?
So let's say Anthony Richardson has such a good season that it's comparable to Hendon Hooker last year. 31 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That would be pretty good. Well, Tennessee went 7-5.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, and another thing about Anthony Richardson, if he has a year like last year, could you see him hitting the transfer portal?
If he has a year like last year, he won't make it to midseason. I mean, the guy was absolutely horrible. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in America last year. I mean, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, completed 40% of his passes. I mean, that's horrendous.
Yeah, but again, even if AR-15 does have a good year, I still think Florida's going 6-6.
But yeah, that's my point. It's not like Florida is a good quarterback away from going 15-0. I mean, if Florida could have a great quarterback and still go 8-4.
Notre Dame might be a quarterback away, though. I will say that.
Yeah, well, we don't know much about their quarterbacks. Neither one of their quarterbacks have really played that much. I mean, they both played some last year in a backup role behind Jack Cohn, but none of them have ever started. It's probably going to be Tyler Buckner, but we don't really know how good or bad he's going to be.
I mean, but I do like what Marcus Freeman has going on with the recruiting.
He's recruiting really well. Yeah, Notre Dame will be better. If this keeps up, Notre Dame will definitely be better in a year or two than they are now. And they're really good now because, I mean, Brian Kelly averaged 11 wins a year there. So if they get better, they're going to be a serious title contender.
He's getting speed and athleticism in the secondary.
Yeah, that's what they were missing, that and wide receiver.
He has CJ Carr, who's a 5-star for the 2024 class.
2024? God damn.
Yeah.
That's 2 whole seasons away. I mean, that's great, but I mean, I don't see much point in talking about the 2024 signing class right now, though. Maybe it's just me.
But I'm also on my Uncle Lou addiction off-season period.
Well, that's good.
Where there's no football and sports going on.
Well, lots of people putting out football content now. Of course, you can also always head over to Golden Blue Man's channel. Now, today, he says, what did he say? A source has leaked some info to him that the SEC is getting ready to kick Vanderbilt out.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and declare bullshit on that one.
Yeah, I left a comment over there that said something like, not a single statement in this entire video is anywhere close to being true or accurate. I mean, literally nothing he said was true. He's something.
Yeah, but I really do like what Marcus Freeman's doing at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's on a roll recruiting-wise for sure. There's no doubt about it. Now we have to see what he can do in terms of coaching, preparation, the staff that he's put together. How's that going to work on game days? Those are the things we just don't have any way to know because we've never seen him do any of it before.
It sounds like everybody loves his ass, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll see how much they love him when they get blown out by Ohio State, but they love him right now.
I mean, in my opinion, if Notre Dame goes 8-4, 9-3, but they get good quarterback play from Tyler Buckner, I'd consider that a win.
Yeah.
Because that,
I think 8-4 would be a bad year. There's only really 4 games that they have any remote chance of losing. If they lose all 4 of those, I don't think that's very good. I think they need to go 9-3, 10-2 at least.
I can personally see 5 games: Ohio State, Clemson, USC, North Carolina, and BYU.
Yeah, I have a hard time buying into BYU in big games because they just lose every time they play one.
I have a hard time believing that we need a non-conference game in Las Vegas, Nevada, Week 4 between Notre Dame and BYU in the first place.
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as a soup sandwich.
I mean, that makes about as much sense as one of those Alabama fans that we all run into.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That makes about as much sense as an elite quarterback committing to UGA.
Seriously, though. How hard is it for you guys to start the right one, though, man?
Extremely hard. The hardest thing on earth, apparently.
Like, I don't. Like, I love Kirby, don't get me wrong, but he has got to be the most hard-headed man I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
Because it's like the gates of heaven just rain down on it with quarterbacks.
That makes about as much sense as a 5-star linebacker going, you know who I want to play for? Lincoln Riley.
You're damn right about that one, sir.
That makes about as much sense as Texas A&M currently being ranked 67th in recruiting for no particular reason at all.
I don't know why Michigan's in the 30s in recruiting this year, to be honest, let alone A&M being in the 60s.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either. Michigan made the playoffs last year. Usually you get a bump in recruiting. Not Michigan. They fell down into the 30s somewhere. That's sad, pitiful, and pathetic, if you ask me.
We're about to miss out on 3 straight 5-star quarterbacks before the season ever starts, assuming Jalen Davis commits somewhere else.
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as Tennessee fans denying the fact that Butch Jones is the best coach they've had in the last 15 years.
Tennessee fans are bitch about their title in 1998, to be honest.
Yeah, why are you bragging about a national title in 1998? That don't make no sense at all. At all.
Like, they just bitch about their title in 1998 and just scream to fire everybody from the mountaintops. That's all they do.
Yeah. George, it's already taken Florida over 41 years at one point to win a national title. Way more. In fact, it took them almost 90 years to win their first national title. So it'll never take Florida 41 years to win a national title. That's fake, and that's fake news. It already took them longer than that. So
it might take Billy Napier a while before Florida really gets anywhere close to where they were in the
It might be
2000s.
41 years before Florida even wins the SEC again.
I mean, Billy Napier might have to. Billy Napier's got a lot of work to do. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's me putting it lightly, because Florida's a trash can and a half.
Right. No doubt about it. All right, buddy, I'm going to let you go. The back room's filling up, okay?
All right.
All right, thanks for coming on. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Shalom in that.
Oh, my God. To what do I owe the honor that you would grace us with your presence on the Uncle Lou channel? I thought you forgot this channel existed.
I got a few minutes off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you forgot this channel existed.
No. I will.
Okay.
I can never forget the Uncle Lou channel.
Okay, good. Thank you. Also in 2.
No, you're welcome. Well, thank you, first of all, for not making me follow George directly. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's a tough act to follow, I must say. But I don't live in Section 8 housing, and I'm stone cold sober.
Oh, good.
So
good. Well, congratulations. Well, yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I was getting a little worried.
Thank you. Well, yeah. I will agree with the last guy. Napier does have his work cut out for him. It is going to take a while. When you damage a program as much as Florida's has been damaged, it doesn't get fixed overnight. Didn't get wrecked overnight. So it'll be a hard thing to watch for a year or two, but gotta have hope.
Well, what do you think about Anthony Richardson?
Well, first of all, declaring on the Twitch show and all that I'm not going to be known as AR-15 anymore because reasons is stupid. But if
it
that's
should
the way you
be
want to roll, that's the way you want to roll.
right.
God bless you.
It should be up to you what people call themselves, not themselves. Yeah, it should be up to
Yeah,
you.
I agree. But
Right.
he drops the AR-15 moniker because he doesn't want to anger a certain segment of the population. All right. I think you're being silly, but okay. As for his playing ability, well, I mean, we got only 1 year to look at, and he didn't play all that much in that year. And when he did play, he had flashes of good and a lot of bad. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's starting from absolute zero, but he really can't go anywhere but up compared to 2021.
I think he's got a really high upside. Like you
I
can't
think he's got a really
deny.
high upside too if you put tools around him.
Yes.
And that's where recruiting comes in, and that's where the clown show failed him. Napier didn't have a lot to. I mean, he didn't have any time to do anything about this year's recruiting class. It was already pretty much locked up. What happens in 23 and forward? I think Napier has proven in past jobs as an assistant and as a coach that he can recruit and he knows the game. So if Napier can develop him a little bit in 22, some people maybe have a bit of a breakout, maybe a bit of a surprise in 22, something to build on. I don't think Florida gets above 7-5 in the regular season. I don't see anything better than that. 8-4 would be amazing, but 7-5 I think is where Florida tops out. Third in the East, maybe fourth if they lose to Kentucky, but third in the East I think is where we'll end up.
Yeah, I mean, I see a handful of games that they're probably not going to win.
AR-15 something to throw to in 23 and beyond, and he may turn into something.
Yeah, because next year could be his last year.
Richardson's?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might decide, hey, I've got a year, I got 2 years of college under my belt. I showed everyone that I'm an athlete and take my chances in the no fun league draft. And then as far as I'm concerned, he disappears down a black hole, but that's another story. Let's see what he does, Certainly he can't play too many games this year like he played against Georgia, or else Florida fans might shut the program down.
Yeah. Now, who's he going to be throwing the ball to? Do we know?
I don't know. I've tried to find the names of these guys. I read the names of these receivers, and I said, I never heard of this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I mean, anyone he's throwing to didn't have a lot of playing time last year. And Slim has got a sad but good point. Mullen is, since Urban Meyer left, Mullen is the best we've had, unfortunately.
Is he, though? Because McElwain won the 66% of the time. So
yeah, okay. But he didn't, I mean, he won the, McElwain won the,
what did Mullen win that McElwain didn't?
Well, okay. But McElwain was riding on the recruiting, on the defensive recruiting coattails of Moose Dump.
True.
So McElwain on his third year with his players instead of Moose Dump's players fell on his face.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't recruit, he couldn't develop. He was an aw shucks Midwestern head coach in a pressure cooker called the SEC,
right.
And he wasn't up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, Stevie Wonder could see it in a dark room with his glasses on.
Damn.
Shark Humper wasn't up to the SEC.
Right.
Now he's coaching in Central Michigan, one of the directional Michigan schools. He's in the perfect place for him because, he's in an aw shucks league, in an aw shucks school, coaching in an aw shucks style.
Yeah, but Dan Mullen's currently a feelings counselor at a high school.
I don't give a shit about Mullen. Mullen lost me last year, and I'm just glad he's not there. He lost me about 60% of the way to lost me when he didn't fire Lardass at the end of the 20 season. After that 3 games in a row debacle, and Mullen didn't come in and say, Grantham, you're done. Take your circus on the road. When he didn't fire him at the end of that year, and he had every reason to fire him.
Yeah.
That bowl game against Oklahoma was tragic.
Yeah.
Complete and that game against LSU. The LSU game should have been Grantham's end right there. And at that point he lost me for the most part. And then the team quit on him about midway through the 21 season. And I quit right with him. I just said, you know what? The sooner Mullen gets out of Gainesville, the better I'm going to feel about life.
Right.
But at least, at least they fired Grantham before Mullen left. But that made me happy, as you all well know. Although now I have this nice T-shirt that says #fire Grantham. I got nothing to do with it.
Auction it
I
off.
can't even use it. I can't even use it to polish a car because the decal would scratch the finish.
Auction it off on your Wednesday live show. That's a piece of Celine Driver YouTube history.
Yeah, I might do that. I have 2 of them, so I could auction one off. Hey, I could autograph it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could autograph it.
I'll put a bid in.
Okay. Well, I'll think about it. Figure out how I can actually do it. How's your kids' driving going?
Good.
Has she burnt your clutch yet?
No. Look, when I took her driving in my car, I took her to a parking lot that was sloped downhill.
Yeah.
And just taught her the feel of the clutch when the gear catches. That's it.
That's exactly how I taught several people how to drive a stick shift. I said, take your foot completely away from the gas. All we're going to do is
that's what I did.
Raise the clutch up until you feel it engage.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So.
And then we did that a few times, and then I had her go in a complete circle a couple of times and switch back and forth between first gear and second gear. So, second gear as she was getting going. And then when she got close to doing the U-turn, shifting back into downshifted into first gear, rounding the curve and heading back up the hill. That was it.
She did good. A good job. So.
She only stalled out one time. I mean, I remember when I was 16 and my dad was teaching me to drive a clutch, and that was on a Ford Ranger, which was much easier to drive than a Mustang. And I stalled out, I don't even know how many times. So she did pretty good. But as far as like just driving automatics, she's doing fine. She's Washington Road is that main road here that's like the busy road. Where
I remember.
Okay. So she's driving up and down that road, no problem with the red lights and all that kind of thing. She hasn't been on the interstate yet, but she's doing really good.
Who's going to pay the insurance? You or the mama?
Well, the mom will pay. Well, I mean, I pay the mom, and then the mom pays whatever she pays. You know how that goes.
Yeah. That slob softball game looked like a ton of fun. I watched some of the feed. You don't know how gutted I was watching that feed, thinking, hey, I could have been there.
We had a lot of fun, man. And we talked about you a lot. Your name was on the shirts.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, your name was on the sleeve of every shirt.
It was?
Yeah.
I'll have to thank Raj for that.
Yeah, on the sleeve, I think it was the left sleeve. I don't remember, left or right. On one of the sleeves, it said sponsored by Celine Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we had a great time, though. It was brutal hot, though. I mean, brutal hot. But we had a great time, though. Yeah, we had a great time. Really good time.
I'm hoping for next year.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm also hoping I get to the Slob Olympics in Carolina. I'm going to make a hotel reservation, hoping I can get there. But you know my story right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think we're finally going to get lucky weather-wise with the Slob Olympics being in March at Charleston. I think we'll have good weather, and that'll be the first time in any of these get-togethers that we've had good weather.
I don't even know what March in Charleston is like.
50s at night, 60s during the day. typically.
Oh, that's easy. I can
Yeah.
do that easy.
If it's a little colder than normal when we happen to go, then maybe it goes into the 40s at night and it's in the 50s during the day. If it's a little bit warmer, it could even be in the 60s during the day. So I think we'll get lucky with the weather this time in March. Yeah.
I hope so. I'm hoping to make it there. I got to see my friends.
That's right. We miss you.
Don't want anyone to forget me.
No, we could never forget you, sir.
One more thing, and then I gotta take. I actually have to head over to the folks' house, but I want one more thing. Keep your eye on the mail. I found something on Amazon that when I saw this, I said, "This has got to be for Lou. I got to get one of these for Lou."
I just got an alert on my phone about an hour ago that there's something here for me to pick up. So I don't know if that's it or not, but.
I don't think it's made it. I don't think it's made it out of Florida yet.
Okay.
But it actually is coming from Orlando, believe it or not.
Okay.
But when you get it, you'll open it, and I hope you get a good laugh out of it.
I'm sure I will. I'll let you know what I think when I get it.
I'm sure you will.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on, Celine.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Talk to you later. Celine Driver checking in. All right. We've been on for about an hour. I'm going to take a 2-minute bathroom break, and I'll be right back. So Jonathan, Jackson, Andy, Austin, Ty Myers, we will get right to y'all in that order when I come back. Just give me a couple of minutes here. I'll play some of my Tennessee preview video, which is going to get posted. I've already done the Tennessee prediction video, and it's going to be posted to my channel as soon as this live show ends. But I'll play some of it for you while I go take a quick bathroom break here. I've got them starting off 4-0. And then losing on the road at LSU. So I think at this point in the video, I'm probably talking about the Alabama game. But give me 1 minute or two, and I'll be right back. And go, well, 9-3 probably. That's okay. I would say, okay, yeah, I agree. Now name the 3 losses. That's where it just becomes harder to do in my mind. I feel like Tennessee is probably a 9-3-ish type team. I think they'll be favored in probably at least 8 or 9 of their games. Possibly 10 of their games if they're favored against LSU. But you don't always win every single game you're supposed to. Almost every team in America loses, in fact, at least once a year to somebody they're not supposed to lose to. So even if Tennessee ends up being a small favorite in this game on the road in Baton Rouge, I do think they catch the L here the week before the Alabama game. Kind of caught looking ahead just a little bit. Again, not an embarrassing loss. This isn't losing to Georgia State. This isn't losing to Vanderbilt 2 out of 3 years like you did a few years ago. This isn't losing to BYU. This is none of that. This is not an embarrassing loss. You're 4-1. You'll still be in the top 25 at this point, even after that loss. And then you host Alabama. Now, I've talked to a lot of Tennessee fans who think that Tennessee will be 5-0 heading into this Alabama game. And speak English. They may very well be. Tennessee is definitely capable of beating LSU. And if that's the case and they beat Florida, I think, they will be 5-0 heading into this game against Alabama. And Tennessee fans have been mentioning this a lot, and the atmosphere that would be present in Knoxville if Tennessee was 5-0 for this Alabama game and Alabama was 5-0 or 6-0 or whatever the case. And I agree, it would be an electric atmosphere. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere anyway, okay? I think this is going to be one of the best Tennessee home games of the last 10 or 15 years. I don't think Alabama's going to blow Tennessee out. This was a competitive game last year, Tennessee and Alabama, into the fourth quarter. And all right, maybe I'll play a little bit more later. Or like I said, the entire video will be posted to the channel after this live stream ends. All right, we're going to get right back to the phone calls here. Shout out to everybody that is tuned in. 125 of you in here. That's great. Hit the thumbs up if you hadn't already. That's a huge help to a live show. So if you've enjoyed the show so far, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. We still got a bunch of people waiting to get on, so we're going to get right back to talking college football here in just a second. But hit the thumbs up. That's a big help. If you'd like to help support the show, there's 3 great ways to do it. There's Super Chat, PayPal, and Cash App. The Super Chat is right below the comment section. Just hit that little $sign. You can attach a note, comment, question, troll attempt, whatever, and I'll be happy to read it. Same thing with the PayPal and the Cash App. The PayPal and the Cash App links are in the description of the video. I'll post the PayPal link real quick in the comments section if you want to support the show. Like I said, that's a great way to do it. And the Cash App is $UncleLouHere. Uncle Lou here. There you go. That's Cash App. Again, all that information is in the description of the video as well. Big Barney Ross, thank you for hitting the super chat to help support the show today. He says, if we're going to talk Tennessee football, let me be the first to quote Butch Jones in saying, bricks are just domesticated rocks. I don't think that's quite how the quote went. I think maybe it was something like that about the brick by brick, but I don't know if that's exactly what it was. Shane M., thank you for the super chat. He says, do you think Gold and Blue Dude is trolling with the conference realignment crap or just smoking some really good stuff? I think he's just doing it for views. I don't think he believes any of the things he's saying. The Slim Shady Canes, what's up, buddy? Thank you for the super chat. He says, Dan Mullen is Florida's best coach since Urban Meyer. Yeah, we talked about that while Celine Driver was on. Thank you guys for hitting the super chat to help support the show. I really appreciate that. And Joel S., thank you for hitting the PayPal link to help support the show. I really appreciate that as well. All right, let's get back to the phones and see what you want to talk about. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello, I was calling Uncle Lou.
Yep, you got him.
Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
All right. So I was going to ask, do you know what teams have not ever made an SEC appearance, SEC championship appearance?
Vandy, Kentucky. That's it from the East.
What about the West?
From the West, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. I think that's it.
Huh. So in the East, well, I guess it's only between Kentucky and Vandy, but my question was going to be, which team that has never made one do you think was most likely to make one in the near future?
I would say Kentucky from the East and Texas A&M from the West would be the most likely. I don't think either of them are making it this year, but I think those are the two most likely to make their first appearance at some point.
Okay. And also, I guess another question about South Carolina and their status as an SEC team, because I started watching college football around the 2010 ish, around like a decade, just over a decade ago, I'd say.
Yeah, the heyday for South Carolina.
Yeah. And so when I first started watching, I'm a Georgia fan, but South Carolina was like one of our bigger games in the years. In my mind at the time, when we lost quite a good bit.
Well, that was the best 3-year run South Carolina's ever had. I think they won 11 games 3 years in a row. And that's been the best stretch of football South Carolina has had in their history. They won the East one of those years, made it to the SEC title game, got blown out by, I believe, Auburn. I think that was in 2010, the year they had Cam Newton and won the national title, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was the best 3 years they had. Huh?
Didn't they beat Bama at one point too?
Yeah, that same year, in fact, they beat Bama at home. Not in the SEC championship game, but they did beat Bama at home that year. Yeah, that was Nick Saban's second or third year in Tuscaloosa, something like that.
Yeah. Because I think at that time we were still stuck with Joe Cox, and they had Connor Shaw, and I was like, man, wish we could be at that level. And now it's quite the reverse.
Yeah,
not as far as quarterbacks go, but as far as programs go.
Yeah, that was right after Matt Stafford is. Well, no, we didn't have Joe Cox then, did we? Or did we? Maybe we did. Maybe we had Joe Cox for I don't remember, but and then Aaron Murray came in after that.
Freshman year, because we were pretty bad in Murray's freshman year too. Yeah. Okay. And also, what QBs that are on the roster now do you think would be the best to fill in for Stetson Bennett when he's gone?
Well, I think right now Carson Beck is the number 2. Yeah, I think if something were to happen to Carson Beck, especially early in the season, if something were to happen to Stetson Bennett early in the season, I think Stetson Bennett would be the starter. Now, after this season, when Stetson leaves, who wins the job between Carson Beck, Brock Vandagriff, and Gunnar Stockton? I don't know. But I think right now, if something were to happen, it would be Carson Beck.
Is there any word of Vandagriff is going to leave, or is there?
I would be shocked if somebody didn't leave, either Gunnar, Carson, or Brock after this season.
Okay. And what do you think? There's any SEC what are the most likely upsets in the SEC this year?
Well, any game Georgia or Bama loses. would be a huge upset because they're both going to be double-digit favorites in every game they play. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to just pick a game that might be an upset. You'd have to ask me about a specific game, and I would tell you the chances of it being an upset or not or something. But I can't just go through the list of 150 SEC games and try to pick out the upsets.
Right. What are Kentucky's West games this year?
Hold on, and I'll tell you. At Ole Miss, and then home against Mississippi State.
I think at Ole Miss is probably tougher than home against Mississippi State.
They probably go 1-1 there.
Yeah. I'm on the Kentucky. I'm a Georgia fan, but I definitely think Kentucky, maybe Tennessee, but it's hard to be confident in Tennessee, I guess. But I think Kentucky's probably the second team in the East this year.
Yeah, especially if Kentucky can take a step forward in the passing game. That's really been what's hurt them against teams like Georgia. Because you can't really run the ball against Georgia. Nobody can. Not just Kentucky specifically, but nobody can run the ball against Georgia. So if you don't have the ability to spread the field out and throw at Georgia, it's almost impossible to beat them. And Kentucky got a little bit better at that last year, but they still got a long way to go.
Yeah. I mean, Levis, what numbers did Levis put up last year? I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he put up decent numbers. Now, his numbers, I don't really think his numbers are a reflection of how good of a quarterback he is. I think he's a first-round draft pick. I don't think he's going to have eye-popping numbers because Kentucky doesn't have the pieces around him. He's not going to throw for 4,000 yards or anything like that. But I do think he's a really good quarterback. I don't think Will Levis is the reason that Kentucky's passing game isn't great. I think it's other reasons.
So Kentucky might be like a 2019 Georgia team, just a little bit less tier, I guess.
Way less talented overall. Way less talented.
Right, but kind of like the last year with Fromm, but less talented a little bit.
Yeah, well, a lot less talented. I mean, Kentucky recruits in the 20s and 30s. Georgia recruits in the top 3 every year.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all I have.
All right, buddy. I
I
appreciate you coming on, man. It was good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello, Uncle Lou.
What's up, bud?
Hey, so yeah, if we look at I think Kentucky's going to be. I think they could possibly win 10 games in the regular season.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think that's very possible. I think the Big Ten West is wide open this year. Random to say, but it is so because Wisconsin. I agree with your prediction. Wisconsin is probably not going to be that good. They're probably going to have 2 down years. It's just weird because they've been super consistent. Like as you say, they win 10 games in their sleep, which is true.
I agree with you. The Big Ten West is hard to figure out because we know Nebraska's not going to be a 3-win team this year. So
Definitely.
Are they going to be a 6-6 team? Are they going to be an 8-4 team? Because I'll be honest, 9-3 will probably win the West.
Yeah, Nebraska's schedule is not hard. They have I think the toughest game is at Michigan, which is a tough game, but it's a really tough game. But I mean, I think they're gonna beat Wisconsin because Nebraska, I think they have a good defense this season because they got O'Shawn Mathis out of the portal, if you know who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one. I think they have I think they have a linebacker that people are saying is really good.
I mean, the only teams in the West that I think can't win it is Illinois, Minnesota, and Northwestern.
I think Minnesota.
I could see Wisconsin. I could see Wisconsin winning it. I could see Purdue winning it. I could see Nebraska winning it. I could see Iowa winning it.
Iowa. I think Minnesota is kind of under. They have Mohamed Ibrahim coming back.
Yeah, again for the 100th year in a row.
He was injured last year.
Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot. Tanner Morgan. Is that who's been starting at Minnesota forever?
The quarterback? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. I mean, I'm not even. But yeah, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. I think you said they were going to lose to Mississippi State because I mean it's impossible. It's very hard to figure out who they're going to lose to. But like Mississippi State makes the most sense because they're an air raid offense, and Georgia's weakness last year was probably their secondary, which is saying
I
something.
think the secondary will be good this year, but it's what you said at first. It's just it's hard to pick a team to go 12-0. At least for me, it is. Am I going to be shocked if Georgia beats Mississippi State 37-10? No, I won't be shocked
No.
at all.
Yeah, I know.
I won't be shocked if Georgia beats everybody they play 37-10. But it's hard to go 12-0. So then you start going, okay, well, where could the loss be? Well, there's a couple of ways to approach that. You can go, well, who's the best team they play? Well, that's probably Oregon.
I think Kentucky might be better than Oregon.
I don't see Oregon beating Georgia in Dan Lanning's first game. I just don't see it. Okay, so then you look at Kentucky. Okay, Kentucky's lost to Georgia by like 70 points over the last 2 years. They're just a mile away, and because Kentucky doesn't have the ability to spread the football around, I don't give Kentucky much of a chance against Georgia. It's a matchup issue for Kentucky.
I'm looking at the Georgia schedule. I mean,
so then you say, okay, Tennessee. Well, Tennessee's got to play in Athens. I just can't see Tennessee, as good as they are offensively, coming into Athens and winning that game. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I see that. I could. Yeah. Also, yeah, you're right.
Some people would say, "Oh, watch out for the South Carolina game." Well, South Carolina plays Arkansas the week before. That's going to be a physical game. South Carolina's going to get beat up whether they win or lose that game. Georgia's playing a middle school team the week before. Yeah, we have to play at South Carolina. I do think Spencer Rattler has potential to be a good quarterback, and I think South Carolina might be decent offensively. I just can't see Georgia losing that one either. And I could list a million reasons why Mississippi State's not going to beat us either, but it's an unfamiliar opponent. It's an unfamiliar environment on the road against an SEC West team we don't play very often, with a quarterback who threw for 5,000 yards last year. And if he gets hot, and Georgia's defense has an off today, so I'm like, okay, I'll just pick that one.
Yeah, Kentucky. That's at Kentucky though, so that's like the only reason I can think of that could be possible because it's home. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, Georgia could go 10-2, and it's not going to happen, but it's possible.
Right.
I mean, they couldn't. I mean, I think, yeah, but Tennessee's a wild card. I feel like they could go 10-2, or they could go like 7-5 again. I mean, they're a wild card.
Yeah, well, I got my Tennessee video done. It's going to be posted to this channel as soon as this live stream ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Just gonna say one more. Go. All right. Well, 2020 #2021.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on. It was good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I know this is all speculation, but I just kind of wanted your thoughts on a super early Heisman. Who you think is going to be the 5 Heisman representatives in New York?
Well, it's no guarantee that it'll be 5. Could be 3, but I mean, they can invite however many people they want.
I thought it was always 5.
No.
Gotcha.
I think last year it was only 3.
Okay.
But anyway, so the obvious names: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams. That's the easy picks. Maybe Tyler Van Dyke, quarterback from Miami. Maybe
I feel like
if they want to invite a running back, Bijan Robinson from Texas. If they invite a defensive player, Will Anderson from Alabama.
I feel like it's hard to make the Heisman ceremony if you don't win like 10+ games. And I don't think Pitt won 10+ games last year, did they?
Yeah.
They won 10?
Well, yeah, they won the ACC, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they won that. I thought they were 9-3 for whatever reason.
Well, if they were 9-3 and won the ACC, that would be 10-3.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
But I agree with you, though. I mean, you can't go 6-6 and win the Heisman. The Heisman's not really the best player. It's the best player on a really good team.
Right. I think this could be the year that we see, and I know it's been a long time since, But I think this could be the year we see a defensive player win.
Yeah, I think Will Anderson is the best player in football. My concern, if I'm rooting for Will Anderson to win the Heisman, is Bryce Young going to take votes away from him? Are there going to be some people that vote for Bryce Young instead of Will Anderson because they're both on the same team? That's
Right.
the only problem there.
And I think that Alabama also has a really good stable of wide receivers this year. I don't think they're as good as they had with Mechie and Jameson Williams and all those guys. But, I mean, Burton, Harrell, and Earl, I mean, those three are three really, really good wide receivers. And I think if you were to say – because, I mean, even when I'm trying to think of his name, the wide receiver that won the Heisman for Alabama a couple years ago.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of his name for whatever reason. But even when he was there, he had some good receivers around him, but he was just that much better than everybody else. I don't think they
Devontae
have
Smith.
a guy. Yes, I don't think they have a guy like him.
No.
But I do think
They don't even have anybody like Jameson Williams or Mechie. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Alabama's a great team. They don't have as good of a wide receiver core this year as they had last year. They just don't.
Right. You know, and also I think that Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I used to be a Georgia Tech fan. Kind of not as much anymore, but I was a big fan of the option, and they don't run it anymore. So, but I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he's head and shoulders better than the running back room over there. I mean, I'm not saying that other people won't get carries because they will, because that's what Saban does. But I mean, I could see him having a run at the point where, you know, if that like you said, Bryce Young is going to throw the ball a lot too. So,
Yeah, and Jahmyr Gibbs can't run the ball 15 times between the tackles. So they can't. He won't last till midseason.
That's true. That's true.
He's not going to get enough carries to get any Heisman consideration.
And last thing, and I'll get off here. I'm under the impression I think Florida's going to be bad this year, and I feel like I'm the only person that thinks this. But I just look at their roster, and I just think like this just screams 7-5 to me. You got a new coach. You don't have any receivers. I've not heard of one of their running backs. The only guy who's notable is their quarterback. And I'm not sure about their defense really. But just to me, it's like Tennessee's getting better. Kentucky's getting better. Georgia's Georgia. I mean, aside from Missouri and Vanderbilt, I mean, South Carolina's gotten better. They brought in some guys. Like, I just think they're going to have a bad year.
No, I agree with you. And pretty much everybody I've talked to, other than a few Florida fans, agree with me and you. 7-5, maybe 8-4 if things go well. You already mentioned what you think about South Carolina. And I think the Florida-South Carolina game is a toss-up. I wouldn't be, how do you pick that game? That's a hard game to pick. Anybody could win that game. I agree with you. I think Kentucky is better, Georgia is better, Tennessee is better. South Carolina's a toss-up, and then they're probably better than Mizzou and Vandy.
Is that Carolina game in Columbia?
I think it was in Columbia last year.
Okay, got you. All right, Lou, I'll let you go, man. Thanks, brother.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Slim Shady Canes, what's up, buddy?
I want to assure your last caller that as long as I'm around, he will never be the only person to think that Florida's going to have a terrible season.
Well, yeah, it kind of surprised me when he said that because, I mean, obviously you, but pretty much everybody I've talked to, and even some Florida, hell, Celine Driver was just on, and he said 7-5. Like, even a lot of Florida fans are kind of tempering their expectations for this year. I think it's the majority opinion that Florida is a 7-ish win team.
Well, some of them.
Yeah.
Because, like, you were going through the people that you were, your 5 or 6 people you think would be in the running for the Heisman. And I was surprised not to hear Anthony Richards' name in there because Florida Man tells me that Anthony Richards is better than Tyler Van Dyke.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing to base that on other than high school tape. I mean, anybody that has watched any college football, Tyler Van Dyke has clearly been a better quarterback to this point than Anthony Richardson. I mean, there's just no denying that. I mean, it's obvious to anybody other than the blindest of Florida fans.
Oh, I would agree. No, actually, the reason I called in today is I wanted to, assuming that this Texas A&M wide receiver, who I think is probably the best wide receiver on their team, is not playing, which isn't a guarantee under Jimbo Fisher. How bad is that really going to hurt Texas A&M's underwhelming offense as it is already?
Well, I think it hurts less that it happened now than if it happened a week before the season starts. Now, I don't know who exactly they're going to put in to replace him, but I do know they've got 5 weeks to figure it out instead of 1 week. So, but yeah, he's probably their best offensive player. I mean, that guy can hit a home run every single time he gets the ball. I mean, he can go 90 yards on a hitch pass. They do jet sweeps to him. They line him up in the backfield. They do all kinds of stuff with him. He's their most dynamic and probably their best offensive player. And I don't think he's playing early in the season against Miami. I don't think he's playing in the middle of the season against Alabama. And I don't think he's playing at the end of the season against LSU. I don't think he's playing a down this year for Texas A&M.
Well, the only reason I throw that out there is Jimbo's history, but I completely agree with the point that he's their most dynamic offensive weapon. I mean, believe me, I've looked at him this offseason, and it was one of the people that I was worried about going into that game. So, I mean, it makes me feel a little better, and it's kind of surprising to me considering Jimbo is an offensive guy. Like I said, I understand they lost their quarterback last year early in the season, but their offense just really seemed very underwhelming, with the exception of him.
Yeah, I mean, they've been living off their defense. I mean, they've had a top 5, top 10 defense for 3 or 4 years in a row. It's been the offense that's holding them back, and this doesn't help. And we also have to remember, assuming they go with Haynes King as their quarterback, that's a guy that has played 5 quarters of college football.
Against FCS well, the first game was FCS competition.
Yeah, then he got hurt against, was it Colorado? Yeah.
I think it was,
Yeah, so, clearly he's really good and has a lot of potential, and everybody wanted him out of high school, and Jimbo thought he was good enough last offseason to name him the starter heading into the season, and I'm not saying he's not any good, but it's not like it's some guy who's been around for a couple of years and we've seen him light it up. I mean, we really haven't seen him do anything at all. There's a lot of there's lots of reason to be skeptical about the Texas A&M offense this year for sure. And one point about Jimbo Fisher, and look, you're never going to find me making excuses for the way Jimbo handled things off the field issues when he was at Florida State. But part of the issue with what was going on down there is a Florida State issue. It's their code of conduct where, you basically have no punishment at all for anything unless it's a felony. That was part of the issue that was going on down there because you had the issue with the BB guns, right? Where it was like $10 or $12,000 worth of damage. Well, in the state of Florida, anything over $1,000 is a felony.
Absolutely.
It was like $12,000 worth of damage, but there was 13 players involved. So they divided the damage by the number of players and then reduced them all to misdemeanors at $900 damage per player. It was stuff like that was going on that wasn't necessarily a Jimbo Fisher thing. There's a lot of issues between Tallahassee PD and Florida State PD. There was a lot of stuff going on there that was kind of shady.
Didn't you have a lineman who had 7 felonies all reduced to misdemeanors?
It was a wide receiver, Bobo Wilson.
Oh, okay, it was wide receiver. I was thinking it was a lineman.
No, he had 6 or 7 felonies, and the district attorney down there reduced every single one of the charges to a misdemeanor. And he missed 1/2 of a game, I think.
I mean, I think you have somewhat of a point, but and here's where I'll say it may be a Jimbo thing. And I have a lot of respect for Bobby Bowden. You didn't have that crap under Bobby Bowden.
Right. No, I agree.
So,
But look, I'm not going to make excuses for Jimbo. I think Jimbo will straddle the fence and lean over it every chance he gets and cut every corner. No, there's no question. I'm not going to make excuses for Jimbo. But specifically with this Aeneas whatever his name is, guy. I don't know specifically what the Texas A&M policy is on misdemeanor versus felony versus, what if it's multiple, like, not that a DUI is a no big deal. I'm not saying that, but if that's all it was and it's his first time ever getting in trouble, that's one thing. This is a DUI with drugs in the car and not only a gun, but a loaded gun. And I mean, whatever we forget the whole political side of the gun debate, that's got nothing to do with this. I think we can all agree that anyone that is under the influence of any type of substances probably shouldn't be driving around with a gun.
No.
So it's the combination of those things that I think is going to get this kid in trouble.
Well, and then actually, I mean, not to go too deep down it, but I mean, if he's under 21, it's a felony for him to be in possession of a handgun, period.
Oh, is it? See, I don't know the laws in Texas.
Yeah,
but,
you have to be,
okay.
That's nationwide. You have to be 21 to buy a handgun.
Yeah, and I don't know how old he is. I have no idea, but.
Yeah, well, that's just it. One other point before I let you go. I agree with your point that, going by a point spread, anybody that Georgia or Alabama loses to would be an upset because they're going to be favored by a point spread. But considering, I mean, to your own point, how hard it is to go undefeated, and, even as great as Nick Saban is as a coach, he's only done it twice. Is it really that much of an upset considering it pretty much happens every year?
No.
Yeah, see, I didn't think so. I mean, I really wouldn't think it would be that big a deal, say, if Georgia does lose to Kentucky or Alabama loses to, say, even A&M again. To me, that really doesn't necessarily say A&M's a better team or Kentucky would be better than Georgia just because, like I said, in my opinion, yeah, you might be favored by the point spread, but everybody pretty much loses to somebody. It's just that hard to go undefeated.
Yeah.
But that's all I have for today.
All right, Slim. I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
It was a pleasure as always, sir.
All right, we'll talk to you next time. George, why do you feel like you need to come back on? What's going on, George?
The first thing I want to say is, hold on. I heard a buzzing noise in the background, so I unplugged my stereo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, cool. Having phones and computers was supposed to make our life easier.
Well, I think in general it does, but
I'm thinking between you and Mark Rogers and Pete, maybe you can get some other guys involved. I don't know. But there's a thing in America called Alzheimer's disease, right?
Yes.
You could get a grant from the Alzheimer's people, and they could tell their patients to call in. And if that patient ever liked Michigan football or Rutgers football, it would give them a touchstone. And you could correct them when they talked about how great their team was. You could pull them back into reality and say, listen, you went 4-12 2 years ago. Give me a break,
Yeah.
Kind of like mental therapy to keep people's minds active. And between all of you, there's enough shows a week to keep them engaged. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to use this for in the future.
Or you could just buy a fidget spinner.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on those.
Get you a Rubik's Cube.
Delusional fans make it fun,
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with you there.
And then you can correct them because you take copious notes.
Right. I do take copious notes.
Never quit taking notes. That's the secret to everything. you can always flip back a couple pages and remind them of what actually happened. Like you went 6-7 last year. You know.
Yeah, yeah. George, it was a pleasure as always. Thank you for coming on. I don't know, I feel like you needed to come on a second time today. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Oh wait, I'm just telling. Like, did George like seriously say that? Like, oh, he was like, phones are supposed to make our lives easier, but like that's not true. Like, bro, what he's talking about? Like, is this ain't that like
You want to
they
argue
fucking
with him,
did, bro?
Here.
Nah,
George?
bro.
George,
Nah, bro. Like,
George, this guy
I
wants to
give
argue
up.
with you. George,
I needed more time to explain myself.
no, argue. This guy wants to argue with you. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I'll listen.
The phones, like, bro, this ain't like the 1800s. You had to like send, you had to send like freaking letters through like the Pony Express and shit. And later on, just telegraphs, which took like million like hours to come through. Like phones for fucking sure made our lives easier, man.
Yeah, you ran him off. You ran him off. He didn't want the smoke.
Like honestly, I mean, even with you, I feel like you're looking at this through like a white lens. All of you guys, like through like white person's lens. Like honestly, kind of like you need a diversity checklist. Like to maybe we should create one right now. All right, like we need more to look at more diverse topics as well on this show, because this show, like honestly, it would be good if it's good, but like you need more diverse topics and stuff. And it's honestly kind of like I mean, I kind of understand it, but I kind of understand it.
Well, this would be a perfect opportunity for you to bring up one of these whatever topics
All
you're
right,
talking about. But so go ahead.
This is your show. This is your show. You have it's your responsibility to do it. Like
No, it's not. This is a call-in show. So the people that call in choose the topic. You're calling in. You're complaining that this show isn't diverse enough. Make it diverse.
But like we should create like right now. Let's create a diversity checklist. Let's go through it right now. All right. Let's create a checklist to
You've said that 9 times. You've yet to say what's on the checklist. Are you ever going to get to that?
Like LGBTQIAPKDBL community. We need more.
There are LGBTQT people in this community.
And we also need
What does that have to do with college football? Why would someone call into this show to talk about that?
We also need more Latinx XQC people, like honestly, because I feel like
there are Latin people that call into this show. When they call
Latin
in, they
X,
don't feel
Latin
the
X,
need to talk
X,
about the
X,
fact that they're
X,
Latin.
X, X,
They're
X,
calling in to talk about football. You know?
Latin X. Bro, and also then like shit, like for sure, like honestly, like shit, honestly, like for sure.
You might be the dumbest person that's ever called into this show. And do you know how hard it is to reach that plateau? I mean, you have made George look like a Rhodes Scholar. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
I'm sorry, Lou. I'm a little struck back by the last caller right now. Hold on.
Yeah. They sit around all day thinking up what they think is a good troll idea, and turns out it's terrible. This is a college football channel. 90% of the people we talk about are black. That's so. If we want to add diversity to this show, we need to start talking about Stetson Bennett and that white linebacker from Clemson.
Oh, yes. And the white running back they have, too.
Oh, that's right. Don't forget about Will Shipley. Let's talk about him for an hour.
No, I just wanted to come in real quick. Also, another fun fact or helpful life lesson. Unlike George, please don't accept any strange substances handed to you from the alley.
George don't give a shit, does he? What is the deal with this guy, George? He had to call in a second time just to tell me that he was having trouble with his cell phone? Like, George, you called in like an hour ago. I let you stay on for 20 minutes rambling about God knows what. But then you felt like you had to call back in to tell us you don't know how to work your cell phone. It's just weird.
I do have a serious question real quick, though.
All right.
All right. what is the likelihood Florida State goes 8-4 this year?
25%. It's not likely.
Ooh,
I don't think.
ooh.
What do I have them at? I already did the.
Yes, you
what
did. You
call
did.
it? What did I have
You
them
had
at?
them-
7-5.
I think
6
7-5.
and
You
6,
had them
something
losing to
like that.
Florida, LSU. You had them losing. Yeah, I think it was 7-5. It must be, you also had them losing to Miami too,
Now,
which I
I'm
agree with that.
I'm pretty confident about the Miami deal. Now, if for some
too.
reason LSU and or Florida are even a little bit worse than I think they'll be, then I think it's possible Florida State could beat one of those, and then maybe that would equal 8-4.
I don't think FSU beats LSU because of the so-called neutral site game.
Yeah.
But I think Florida's very realistic. I think we can beat Florida.
Where do y'all play them at?
It's in Tallahassee this year.
Yeah, well, that helps. And look, Florida has a bad habit of giving up at the end of the season if there's not a lot to play for. If you catch them in one of those types of situations and Florida State's having a pretty good year, then maybe you can catch them this year. This would be the year to get them.
This definitely would be the year to get them, and I think we do. And that's our eighth win.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Right.
I
think our only losses are to Clemson, Miami, LSU, and NC State. Be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Clemson, Miami, NC State for sure. Yeah. You're a little more confident in them losing to LSU than I am. I do think LSU will win the game, but I'm not as convinced, I don't think, as you are.
I think, personally, for me, it comes to Brian Kelly. And, I mean, like, Brian Kelly had so many years at Notre Dame, and then he only beat a Florida State team that lost to Jacksonville State last year by 3 points.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me to pick him, especially in the first year with LSU, which LSU always has talent. There's nothing there. But, I mean, I'm not willing to hop on that this soon.
Yeah.
But like I said, the LSU gets a lot of help, in the beginning of the season. I mean, New Orleans, you get to play first game of the year, New Orleans.
Yeah.
A home game to me. So
yeah, no, I agree. I've said the same thing about the Georgia Oregon game. The Georgia Oregon game is only neutral in that it's not being played in Sanford Stadium. The crowd is going to be 80% Georgia at least, and it's probably the same is true for the LSU game. It's just a geography thing, right? I mean, so like home field advantage, a big part of home field advantage is what? The crowd.
Right.
So if you're playing at a quote unquote neutral stadium, but the crowd is 80% in one direction, well, that's still technically a home field advantage, So I agree with you. I don't like the neutral site games. Whether they're here or there, is irrelevant to me. I think these games should be played on college campuses, but
100%. And I'll let you go, man. I'll let the callers come in.
All right, Seminole, it was good to hear from you, buddy. I appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
All right, talk to you later. FSU man checking in there. True Seminole. How's it going in the comments section? It's going well. Nash Talks Texas. What's up, buddy? He says the Uncle Lou giving us the content we need. I appreciate that, man. Y'all give me more than I give you. Look, I would go absolutely nuts for 7 months in the off season or whatever if I didn't have all of you to keep me sane during the off season, right? Talk college football here year round, and that's all thanks to you guys. Big Barney Ross says, "Sweep the leg." You like my Cobra Kai shirt? You like that? Cobra Kai? It's a good show. Do y'all watch that Cobra Kai on Netflix? It's a good show. Obviously, if you're my age or anywhere around my age and you grew up watching the original Karate Kid movies, it's a great show, right? But even my kids like Cobra Kai, and they've got no idea about the original Karate Kid movies, and they still like it. So it's a good show either way. But obviously, if you grew up watching the original Karate Kid movies, it's a great show because they've brought all the characters back. Hell, they even got Soto coming on this next season. Y'all remember Soto from Karate Kid 2, he's going to be on this next season. So it's been a fun show to watch. Justin says, can we go ahead and fast forward football season? This has been a long month. Yeah, not much longer to go, though. What's today? The 26th? Season starts on what, the 27th? Week 0? So not long. Not long at all. What's up, Red Dog? Good to see you in here, buddy. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yes, hello. I would like to point out the stupidity.
Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Lou?
What's up, buddy?
Can I do a schedule prediction?
Sure. Who you want to do?
UConn?
No.
Why not?
Because it's just a waste of everyone's time, and my time is very valuable.
UConn's time is valuable too. I mean, they're going to beat Michigan this year.
UConn's not calling in. You are.
I think they'll beat Michigan this year, like low key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call. It's always fun to laugh at you guys. UTEP preview, that's probably on the list, honestly. I bet if I go look on the Patreon page, it's on there. Somebody puts that on the Patreon page every year, so I'm sure a UTEP preview is coming. How'd you become a Georgia fan? I was just born and raised here. App State preview, I don't know if that's on the Patreon list or not. I won't do an App State preview unless it's on the Patreon list, though. I know, Mac. Oh, got a new helmet. Meant to do this at the beginning of the show and I forgot. Y'all want to see the newest addition to my helmet collection? I'm kind of, some of y'all might be surprised I didn't have this one already, but believe it or not, I don't have all the Power 5 teams yet. There's still a few Power 5 teams I don't have. But here's the newest addition to the Uncle Lou helmet collection. Yeah, Virginia Tech. Lou, I have a nice helmet too, but I don't brag about it. But that's up to you. You get to choose what you brag about and what you don't brag about. Whatever happened to Amanda Watson? I don't remember Amanda Watson. Oh, you couldn't see that. Sorry. I guess it helps if I put it on the screen for y'all to see, huh? There you go. Sorry about that. Whatever happened to Bartley's? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what happened to Bartley's. That's a good question. Who's the best UJ QB of all time? College quarterback, in my opinion, it's Aaron Murray. Yeah, brown and orange. Hard, you know, it for like you said though, they make it work, but brown and orange, not easy to pull off. Like the Cleveland Browns, right? They're brown and orange, right? Well, Stafford was better than Murray in the NFL, but Murray was way better in college. Why did Georgia Tech change their offense after so many years? Because it's the 21st century. No, I haven't done Wake Forest yet. Let's see. The next one will be what will the next one be? It'll be an ACC team. The next preview will be an ACC team. So it might be Wake Forest. I've done Miami and Florida State so far from the ACC. Here's the teams I've done so far. Bama, Miami, Southern Cal, Wisconsin, Baylor, South Carolina, Florida State, Ohio State, Utah, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. Those are the ones I've done so far. Tomorrow will be an ACC team. I'm not sure which one yet. I'd have to go over to the Patreon page and look, but it'll be an ACC team tomorrow. Best UJ kicker, Hot Rod. Who will win the Natty and why will it be Miami? I think Miami's going to have a really good year. I don't think they're winning the Natty, though. Hot Rod was better than Kevin Butler. Much higher percentage of kicks made, field goals, higher percentage of extra points. Do I remember Jawan Jennings? Yeah. You spelled it wrong, though. But, yeah, I do remember him. Auburn over under 6 wins. I think 6 is right for the over under. I think they probably go 6-6. Best UJ fullback. Brandon Sutherland, Veron Haynes. Those would be my top 2. Slim Shady Canes, thank you for the super chat. He says, the rich get richer. Tampa Bay just signed Julio Jones. Wow. So he'll get to play with Tom Brady, at least for 1 year. A Barner told me the Iron Bowl was going to decide the West. Yeah, that's fake news. Do you keep up with any group of 5 teams? If so, best group of 5 team prediction. I think the best group of 5 team this year will be Houston. Steve Goldberg, never heard of him. Never heard of Steve Goldberg. What will happen to Stetson after graduation? He'll go get a job somewhere. Best UJ backup QB, Justin Fields, and it's not close. Bill Goldberg played defensive line. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I had a great time today. Shout out to everybody who came on the show. I always enjoy talking college football with you all. We'll do this again Thursday, probably around 9 o'clock. So make sure you tune back in Thursday night, 9 p.m. We'll do the call-in show again. I'll have another prediction video uploaded tomorrow. It'll be an ACC team. So I'll have to go over to the Patreon page and figure out which one it is. If you would like to join the Patreon page and help support the channel, there's a link in the description of the video that'll take you over to the Patreon page. Click that link. Go over there. You can have yourself a look around. Get yourself signed up and find the post that I made about prediction videos and leave a comment and let me know what team you want me to do a prediction for, and I'll be sure and get it done. That's what I do every day when I get ready to do one of those prediction videos. I go over to the Patreon page. I scroll through that post. I find a team that somebody commented they want me to do, and I do it. So feel free to go check that out. All the links are in the description. All right, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and have a good morning.